Now, energy continues to be a big worry for this country, and this summer we will be tested yet again. The Australian Energy Market Operator has warned again that load shedding and blackouts might hit the national electricity market again during heat waves this summer because we are light on for dispatchable supplies. We don't have enough reliable baseload power, that is coal or gas-fired power. We have people spending tens of billions of dollars on additional wind and solar power, lured by government guarantees and subsidies, but we're losing dispatchable power and shooting ourselves in the foot. It'll get worse when New South Wales Liddell power stations start shutting down within a couple of years. And Victoria's Labor state government is now pushing for half of its electricity supply to be renewable. Daniel Andrews wants to turn his state into the next South Australia. Ponder that. Yet for all this looming crisis, all this self-harm, where state and federal governments' obsessions with renewables have taken a country that was an energy powerhouse with cheap, reliable power, the envy of the world, and turned it into a basket case of expensive energy insecurity. For all this crisis, the Greens are still getting around spouting the same old nonsense.
So what we should be doing is setting ourselves up for the future. We've got 180,000 new jobs created if we transition away from coal to renewables, invest in the grid, get storage targets off the ground. They're the sort of things that we need to do to get our economy fit for purpose.
Oh, yeah, that's right. When you're in a hole, just keep digging. That's as clever as the Greens get on this stuff. It's embarrassing that they get away with spouting this tosh day in and day out with no reckoning. At least Labor might have got the message from voters at the federal election, but Greens voters just love this sort of nuttiness. Instead of delivering the power supply we need, state governments and energy market operators are now taking desperate measures to reduce consumption, especially during times of peak demand. Now, as you know, the reason they are times of peak demand is because they are the times we want to use the power, like when it's hot and we want to keep cool. But now they'll pay you to sweat it out.
A couple of times each summer we have some very hot days, and they're the days when the electricity system gets stretched.
Stretched to a point, then things switch off.
We know that the pressure on the grid has resulted in blackouts before.
The solution, asking customers to cut consumption when the system's on edge for cash. They'll get a text message on a hot summer's day alerting them to a power event. Cut your usage by 20% and you'll get $10 off your quarterly bill. Cut it by half, you'll get $20.
Yep, that's what's happening in Melbourne. We have truly lost the plot. We are attempting to deindustrialise ourselves, and it's working. And the Green left, who dominate the media, just won't open their eyes. Look at this from ABC opinion barometer Jonathan Green. His tweet seems too silly to be true, challenging us to look at the demand side of the equation. Hey, Australia, do you really need the aircon this summer? How about a return to traditional Aussie values? Find some shade and open a window. Yeah, Jonathan, then we should all just jump in the billabong, I suppose. The classic Australian story of surrender. The trouble is, as silly as all this sounds, it's actually exactly what the policymakers are now saying. Don't use power when you need it. In fact, when you need it, we'll offer incentives for you not to use it. Meanwhile, we export our coal to Japan, Korea, India and China because they want power when they need it. Someone knows what they're doing here, and it sure ain't us.